Welcome to the League of Biblical Mathematics, and I'm your host, Vincent. Today, I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into the five platonic solids. I know I've shared services on the five platonic solids, but I wanted to dig a little bit deeper on the five platonic solids. I was really looking for the article because I know it's there, and it shows that how on the platonic solids that all the sides result back to the number 9. I wanted to go more in depth into that, but I'm just going to go ahead and read this article that I found on the five platonic solids that explains it very well. There's a video that also explains it. Matter of fact, can't think of the name of the video. The school, they explain it as well, how they result back to 9. So let me go ahead and share with you this video, this letter I have, and this letter I have and share my screen with you guys. Well, not a letter. I know I said a letter, but this article I found on the internet. And this article is called "The Secret of Platonic Solids in Sacred Geometry" by Sebastian Folliet on 19/06/2022. What's it, 1906? So that's why I'm reading from another country. So it's actually the 6th, June 6th. So it's actually June 19th, 2022. I gotta remember that other countries, when they put the day first, then the month, then the year. In America, we put the month, the day, then the year. So us, it will read June 19th, 2020. Okay, so that being said, it's called Sacred Creation. Okay, here it is. You might have heard of them before. The platonic solid mysterious shapes which every sacred geometry talks about. We even shortly mentioned them in our first sacred geometry blog. In this multi-part blog, we'll unfold secrets of the platonic solids. Let's dive in. Okay. Click to quickly jump into this section. Okay, we're not going to do that. Talk about what is platonic solid duals, who discovered the platonic solids, Plato, Kepler, Metatron's cube in the platonic solids, building blocks, spiritual meanings, 6 conclusions. What are platonic solids? In the world of math, the platonic solids go by the name convex, irregular, polyhedra. Polyhedra is a Greek word meaning many faces. So in short, our three-dimensional reality, only 5 forms can be polyhedra. It can be constructed with the following rules. Each face, edges, and vortex are angles between each face, and each face are identical. Sorry, let me do that again. Yeah, I like that flowed. Polyhedra is a Greek word meaning many faces. So, in short, Our three-dimensional reality, only five forms can be constructed with the flowing rows each face, edges and vortex and angles between each face are identical. So why are there why are there exactly five platonic solids? Why not less or more? To explain this, we'll have to take a look at a dimension lower, 2D, instead of 3D. Every platonic solid and Archimedean solid is built out of regular polygons. This basically means that each edge is equal and each corner of the 2D shape is equal. The most basic regular polygon is a regular triangle. Add a corner more and you get a square. Add another corner more and you get a pentagon. This can go on to infinity. Doing so will eventually result in a circle. So a circle can only be seen as an infinite polygon. Here goes picture, see, breaking up into a circle, okay? All of the atomic solids are made up of these polygons, mainly the equatorial triangle, the square, and the pentagon. Fun fact, all these regular polygons contain the magic number 9. Okay, they have it. I'm glad they have it. You can read more about this in this blog. Holding the platonic solids. So let's take the triangle. If we add 3 other triangles and stitch them together on each edge of the single triangle, you get a bigger flat triangle. But if we fold them on those edges of the 2D dimension into the 3D dimension, you'll create an enclosed volume called the tetrahedron. So basically, it's origami, but with a few extra rows. A more clear example is the cube, which is the familiar, which is familiar for most people. Looks like a box, right? As you might understand, adding a few extra flat squares to the 2D flat pattern or removing a few won't make it an enclosed volume anymore. This rule basically applies to the platonic solids. Let's take another look at the triangle. With 4 triangles, you can make a tetrahedron. Add 4 more, and you can make an octahedron. Add 12 triangles, and you can make a icosahedron. That's basically all you can make or fold. with the equatorial triangle, else it won't be an enclosed volume anymore. With teleplatonics, you can fold it into the dodecahedron. No other configurations are possible with this polygon. You just like the squares, which forms the cube hexahedron. But what about the hexagon? Can we make up a solid from that? Nope. As a flat pattern, all of the non-folding lines are already touching each other. You can't pop them out of 2D into 3D. Even if you did, the surfaces would intersect. The mathematical explanation would be at least three faces. Sorry. The mathematical explanation would be at least three faces have to meet at each vortex, and the sum of the internal angles that meet at the vertex must be at least 360 degrees. So for this reason, it is only possible to create 5 platonic solids. The tetrahedron, 4 faces yellow, the hydrohedron, cube, 6 faces red, the octahedron, 8 faces green, the dodecahedron, 12 faces purple, and the icosahedron, 20 faces orange. Each platonic solid is named after the amount of faces it has. The dodecahedron in yellow, the dodecahedron in purple, the isohedron in yellow, the octahedron in green, the hexahedron in red, the yellow, the tetrahedron in yellow. I guess that's orange. Sorry. The isohedron is orange. I'm sorry. Uh, duals. There is even duals. There's even something more magical about these objects. Each of them has a dual. So what does this mean? Every polyhedron has a dual. Polyhedron with its faces and vertical interchange. To explain this more easily, if we place a dot or a vortex in the middle of each face of one of the platonic solids, and we would connect these dots with lines, a few platonic solids images. Take the cube, for example. It's dual, or it is octahedron. The cube has 6 faces and 8 verticals, while the octahedron break. Excuse me. Yeah, Raekwon, quiet down, please. I'm trying to. Sorry about that. Yeah. The cube, for example, is dual. It is the octahedron. The cube has 6 faces and 8 verticals, while the octahedron has 8 faces and 6 verticals. That dual of the octahedron is the cube. This way, the icosahedron and the dodecahedron are duals of each other. The tetrahedron, however, is dual. This means another tetrahedron can be made inside of a tetrahedron. Nesting those duals inside each other can go on to infinity in both directions, smaller, larger. You can basically create a platonic solid fractal like this. Who discovered the platonic solids? So, who discovered the platonic solids? The platonic solids are an ancient and are found in excavations dating hundreds of years back, such as those ancient Romans and such as those ancient Romans and Egyptians excavations 200 to 400 AD. They were using the tetrahedron and the icosahedron probably as dice. The real purpose still remains a mystery. However, it turns out that the Etruscan, that sorry, it's a tough word right there. I'm trying to get through this word. However, it turns out that the Etruscan civilization did have knowledge of the platonic solids during the excavation of the Monte Lofa near Padua, Italy. They found they found a man-made tetrahedron, which were mostly likely used as a toy or in games. These dodecahedrons are approximately 2,500 years old, dating from 500 BC. Okay, so you see, these are gave it found tetrahedron, broke it down. Plato. But what it was Plato, but it was the ancient Athenian philosopher Plato, 34-7 BCE, who discovered these shapes as extremely important. It was he who described these unique shapes for the very first time and gave the name the platonic solids. Rumors go that it was Pythagoras who used the platonic solids 200 years earlier than Plato. He named these shapes the perfect solids. Plato believed they're the most basic building blocks of our physical reality. He mentioned that without fire, nothing would be visible, and without earth, nothing would be tangible. For this reason, he connected each platonic solid to the basic elements or the each state of the name solid, liquid, gas, plasma. He began with the cube, with which has a very stable base and is the most immovable of all platonic solids. So it is corresponding to the stable earth or solid matter. The tetrahedron has the smaller volume of its surface area and therefore is the most movable of all the platonic solids. Corresponds to the movable fire or plasma. The icosahedron has the largest volume. It services the area and it is therefore the least movable, basic movable. Besides, it is the most round looking platonic solid, like a droplet of water. So, water or liquid is assigned to the icosahedron. Also, in relation with the icosahedron, it shows that the properties of the of the dryness, fire, and small, wetness, water, big. The, the octahedron can rotate freely, then held by its two opposite verticals. Its volume is between the tetrahedron and the icosahedron. It is therefore noble to mobile and movable. Okay. It is therefore mobile and movable. So it corresponds to the movable air or gas. Last but not least, the dodecahedron. The dodecahedron corresponds to the universe or ether, ether, because the zodiac has 12 signs and the constellation of stars corresponding to the 12 faces of the dodecahedron. More consensual research suggests in 2023 that the infinite universe has the shape of all dodecahedrons. So we take a look at this right here. Okay, the Earth is green. It's a cube. Fire is a tetrahedron, right? And got him all these shapes and stuff. Look how they show them. Okay, so again, so excuse me, y'all. Hey, calm down. Raekwon, y'all need to calm down a little bit, please. Let me find out. It looks about. All right. Sorry about that, y'all. You know, when you got teenagers and stuff, how it can be sometimes. So I wanna continue to press on what I got going on here. Um, okay. Kepler. These links that Plato made between the elements and the platonic solids has inspired many cultures and other mathematicians, mainly Jonas Caper, 1571, 1630. Got inspired by the idea of Plato, he used the platonic solids to describe the planetary movement, also known as the mysterium cosmographicum. He nested each platonic solid inside each other and also encasing each of them inside a sphere. Kepler discovered that the sphere called the place at the intervals corresponding to the relate size of each planet's path, with the assumption that the planet circle the sun. So therefore, he assigned the cube to Saturn, tetrahedron to Jupiter, the dodecahedron to Mars, the icosahedron to Venus, the octahedron to Mercury, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto were discovered after Kepler's death. Uh, the Mysterium Cosmographicum of Kepler can be seen at the first important step toward our current modern model of our solar system. Metatron's cube and the platonic solids. Another amazing thing about the platonic solids is Metatron's cube. Metatron's cube or Metatron's cube is a complex sacred geometry object creation through the flower of life. The flower of life is often seen as the source of everything. And you'll soon probably understand why. The flower of life is a complex shape. The flower of life is a complex shape with many lines in 2D. If you remove the certain lines, you can create a new shape. This way we can go from the flower of life into the fruit of life. If we now add some straight lines, we can go from the fruit of life to Metatron's cube. Flower of life, fruit of life, Metatron's cube. Now comes the interesting part. Metatron's cube, we can create platonic solids, but the platonic solids are 2D projects. Sounds complex, I know, but below you'll see how this works. See? That's what's happening here. I'm gonna try to see, I'm gonna let that sit for a second. I'm gonna try to see all this. You got to soak all this in and get all this. Yeah. I got it. I'm gonna try to see all that. It's very important that you guys get that. Metatron's cube's name, Metatron's cube is named after the Archimedean Metatron. Sorry. Metatron's cube is named after the archangel Metatron. He is responsible for all the creations in the market. Sorry. Sorry. Metatron's cube is named after the archangel Metatron. He is responsible for all the creations and makes his appearance in the Judaism, Christianity, and in Islam. The name Metatron comes from the Greek word meta and tron. In Greek, meta means beyond, and tron means matrix. In ancient Egypt, Metatron is also known as the god of writing, magic, wisdom, and the moon, but goes by the name Ra. Wow, very interesting. It is no coincidence that Metatron is responsible for all creations and that Metatron's cube contains all platonic solids, especially since the platonic solids are seen as the building blocks for our universe. Platonic solids as building blocks. Just like platonic solids are the building blocks of our physical reality. And there is proof for that statement, as well as different way the platonic that Plato meant, but he was not far from the truth. The amazing thing is these building blocks apply on almost every scale, from the microcosm up to the microcosm, just like God once said, as above, as below. We take you, we'll take you on a journey from the small to big and other blog shows, and you'll and show you how the platonic solids act as building blocks in our physical reality. It might sound strange that we really are the basic building blocks of our physical reality, but it is not that strange, really, since there are extremely balanced and equal, and we know that natural nature tends to balance things out equally. A good example of nature balancing surfaces tensions with the help of the platonic solids can be seen in this video. True video. The, the Neurologist Code Episode 2 BBC. Okay. Spiritual meaning of the platonic solids. Since sacred geometry has a possibly emerged effect on us, so do the platonic solids. Each and every platonic solids can assist you in different ways, in different way on your spiritual path. But they also have one thing in common. They're most primitive, stable, and balanced shapes in the universe for this reason. They will mostly balance energies in your system and your environment. Another in, in another blog, we'll go in depth about the spiritual meaning of platonic solids. We'll cover their connections with the chakras, how they can be, how they can help you on your spiritual path, and how you can use them to your advantage. Conclusion. In this blog, you have learned that the five platonic solids are why there are five of them. Sorry, there again. Conclusion. In this blog, you have learned what the five platonic solids are and why there are five of them, what their duals are, and their history through time. This is still plenty more to tell, especially about art through time. Many paintings were inspired by these magical shapes. If you read the other platonic solid blocks, building blocks, spiritual meaning, you'll know there are, you know, you'll now have the full picture of why they're so important. These shapes govern our entire physical reality and have a great effect on our well-being. These shapes hold the key to our universe. Okay, so I actually enjoyed that blog. Yes, I did. Um, so we just went through that part right there, right? I'm gonna come back tomorrow and I'm gonna read the building blocks and the spiritual meaning of with this of this same blog right here. So then I want you guys to stay tuned, stay with me. We're gonna go into the building blocks and the spiritual meaning, right? Of these platonic solids, right? Um, a few things I found in this article I thought was very enlightening, very eye-opening to me, right? And I wonder, like, for you guys, let me start sharing my screen. That they were very eye-opening to me, right? Well, one, I noticed that let me see, what was I looking at? I think it was the octagon when they laid it out flat. Let me see, it was very interesting how, let me see, it was very interesting how it wasn't laid out flat. Um, it had, it had six sides and one in the middle, and it kind of reminded me of the flower of life. And I think that was you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was the octagon, the octahedron. Yeah, the octahedron, it laid out into six outside pieces and one in the middle, right? Which is also the flower of life, which is also the 7 days of creation, right? I found that to be very interesting, right? Then I also found out when he mentioned, they said one of them had 12, let's see. Okay, here it is. It said, yeah, it's the dodecahedron. How the dodecahedron had, had 12 sides, and that it represents the signs of the zodiac and the stars and the faces and 12 faces of the dodecahedron, right? Um, I found that to be interesting because we know we looked into 12th the dodecahedron and to the signs of the zodiac, then I'm kind of stretching here a little bit. I will openly, honestly admit that. Um, but maybe I'm not stretching. But let me just say this, right? When I hit the 12, also going to the 12 apostles, because we also know that the 12 apostles, we link to the 12 signs of the zodiac, the 12 signs of the zodiac, which also link to the 12 signs of the dodecahedron. Yeah, so this is very fascinating stuff if you're into this. And I want to say something else too here, right? That I'm not sharing anymore. That I'm gonna say something else to my audience and you guys. I want you guys to who stayed and watched this entire video, who stayed and watched this entire video with me, who you know, I got my daughter with me from today. Um, Yeah, I actually overslept. Let's take her to school. I actually overslept. I got my daughter with me and her cousins with me. And I got that that distraction. Didn't want to be kids because you hear the noise live in the background if you hear it. I apologize for that. But yeah, yeah, kids, you understand. Um, through my battling and sometimes tripping over words and misspelling words like that and stuff, right? I want you guys to know that you guys have actually destroyed a myth, right? So I don't know how many of you actually stayed on with me this long. You watched the entire video, right? But there's a theory, there's a, I'm gonna call it theory consistent, right? But what the math is based on, right? But it says that people will only watch 5 minutes of the video. And if you don't grab their attention within the first 5 minutes of the video, they'll stop watching it. Right. So I hope I think that's how it goes. So I hope I grabbed your attention in the first 5 minutes of the video, right? And I hope that you stayed the entire video to listen to it, right? Those of you who have watched and stayed the entire time to watch this video, to hear me mumble, trip over words, distractions, and all these different things that we deal with in life, right? Have proven that we as humans have a longer attention span than what they're giving us credit for. Thank you for destroying the myth. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for being here. Please, please, like I'm really trying to increase my knowledge and get a bigger platform and build myself up. But please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment in the comment section. Like, some people just say those things because they feel like it's gonna get them views and like that, whatever and stuff, right? Um, I actually really want to hear from some of you guys that are out there, right? Um, and I'm looking to build, right? So when I say build, right, is that you tell me something that I might have misunderstood or don't have a clear understanding of it, right? Or you be able to explain something better than I can, right? Because sometimes reading it doesn't always explain it, right? It just it says what it is, right? Um, and that's what I want, right? So we have a conversation, a working conversation, not an argument of going back and forth, right? I'm looking to build, I'm looking to create conversation, I'm looking to build an understanding, right? From how you might see things, right? Because you as an individual speak out to so many different people, right? Um, like, yeah, there's me, Vincent, right? The person, right? But there's so many people who can relate to what I'm saying. And we live in a world where we kind of think that sometimes we have this misconception, we think that we're alone, that no one's going to understand us. But we got to put it out there because there's other people who might be thinking along the same lines you're thinking, right? So with that being said, peace, love, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Remember, like I said, I'm going to go those other two, but let me digress. Peace, love, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.